You believe yourself to be a good man. You sit in silence when you should speak. You step aside when you should stand firm. You let the world take pieces of you day after day, thinking that your compliance is a virtue. You tell yourself, I am a peaceful man. I do not cause trouble. I am kind. Let me shatter this illusion for you right now. And I want you to listen, because what I am about to say will hurt, but it is the necessary pain of surgery. You are not a good man. You are a harmless man, and there is a violent, terrifying difference. A rabbit is harmless. It cannot destroy. Therefore, its choice to be peaceful is not a choice at all. It is a lack of options. It is prey. It survives only by the mercy of the predator. But a wolf has the capacity to tear a throat out. If a wolf sits calmly by your side, refusing to bite, that is virtue. That is controlled power. Peace is not the absence of violence. Peace is the ability to wreak havoc, and the discipline to choose calm instead. If you are incapable of violence, you are not peaceful. You are merely weak, and the world, nature, history, it eats the weak. So, why have you become this way? We live in a society that has domesticated you. From the moment you entered the school system, you were told to sit down, be quiet, don't be too rough, don't be too loud. Ambition was painted as greed. Aggression was painted as evil. Competence was painted as a threat. They told you that to be civilized, you had to cut off your claws, and you listened. You confused weakness with morality. You thought that by removing your teeth, you would become a saint. But look at the result. Look at your life. Do you feel like a saint? Or do you feel anxious, resentful, ignored? Friedrich Nietzsche, the dark prophet of the modern age, saw this coming 100 years ago. He described a type of person called the last man. The last man is tired. He wants only comfort. He wants to be warm. He wants safety above all else. He blinks slowly and asks, what is love? What is creation? What is longing? The last man has no great passion. He has no great fire. He is safe. And he is utterly, terribly empty. This is the state of the modern male. You have suppressed your nature so deeply that you have become a shadow of what you were meant to be. And deep down, in that quiet place you don't like to visit at 3 a.m., you know it. You know you are capable of more. And that gap between who you are and who you could be is where the pain lives. Dr. Jordan Peterson often speaks of this paradox. He says that the harmless man is not a good man. The harmless man is a tragedy waiting to happen. Why? Because life is tragic. Life is difficult. Life is a series of conflicts. And when a harmless man faces a true crisis, when tragedy strikes, he collapses, and worse than collapsing, he becomes bitter. This is the dark secret of the nice guy. Because you are harmless, you expect the world to be soft with you. You have made a covert contract with fate. You think, if I am weak, then life won't hurt me. But life does not care. Disease does not care. Divorce lawyers do not care. The economy does not care. When the storm comes, the harmless man feels betrayed. He screams, it isn't fair. I was nice. I followed the rules. And that betrayal turns into resentment. And resentment is the most poisonous emotion a human can feel. It rots you from the inside out. A harmless man, filled with resentment, is the man who snaps. He is the man who destroys his family with passive-aggressive comments. He is the man who seethes in silence until he commits an act of unimaginable cruelty. So I tell you again, stop being harmless. It is destroying you, and it is dangerous to everyone around you. But how do we fix this? We do not become tyrants. We do not become criminals. We look to the ancients. We look to the philosophy of the shadow sovereign. You must begin the process of integration. Carl Jung, the great psychologist, spoke of the shadow. The shadow is the part of you that you have locked in the basement. It contains your anger, your aggression, your primal instincts, your desire for dominance, your selfishness. Society told you these things were bad, so you hid them. But Jung said, no, you must go into that basement. You must find that monster. And you must look him in the eye. This is uncomfortable. You must admit to yourself, I am capable of malice. I have the capacity to hurt people. If you were a guard in a dark regime in the 1940s, are you sure you wouldn't have followed orders? Are you sure you are too good for that? Or were you just lucky enough to be born in a different time? Recognizing your own capacity for darkness is the first step to true strength. Because once you realize you have a monster inside you, you stop being a rabbit, you realize you have weapons, and now you have a responsibility. You must train that monster. You must harness it. Think of a disciplined martial artist. A black belt in judo is a dangerous man. He can break your arm in 3 places, but he is usually the calmest person in the room. Why? Because he is not afraid. He knows that if physical danger arises, he has the answer. Because he is competent, he does not need to posture. He does not need to shout. He does not need to prove anything. His confidence is quiet. Because it is real. This brings us to the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Emperor. People misunderstand Stoicism. They think it means having no emotions. They think it means being a statue. No. Marcus Aurelius was the emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on the surface of the earth. He spent 17 years on the northern frontier fighting a brutal war. He wrote his meditations covered in mud and possibly blood. When he wrote about tranquility, when he wrote about kindness, it meant something because he could have chosen cruelty. He had the power to burn entire civilizations to the ground, and sometimes he did. But when he chose mercy, it was a sovereign's mercy. You must build yourself to that level. You cannot practice Stoicism if you are weak. Stoicism is the practice of restraining power. If you have no power, you have nothing to restrain. You are just hiding. We also look to the strategist Niccolò Machiavelli. For centuries, people have called him evil, but he was simply a realist. He gave us the law that governs the real world. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Now apply this to your life. I do not mean you should terrorize your children or your coworkers. Translate fear into respect. In the professional world, in the social hierarchy, in the dating market, respect is the currency. Love is fickle. People love you when you give them what they want, but respect is what they give you when they know they cannot push you around, when you are competent, when you are articulate, when you have boundaries that you refuse to cross. That creates a form of fear. It is the fear of losing you, the fear of your disapproval. A man who cannot say no is not respected. He is used to say number and mean it. You must be ready for conflict. You must be willing to let people walk away. You must be willing to walk away yourself. This is the power of the void, the ability to detach, the ability to stand alone in the darkness and be okay. If you need other people's validation to breathe, you are a slave. The dangerous man does not need you to like him. He prefers it, but he does not require it, and paradoxically, that makes him magnetic. So, how do we build this? How do you go from a harmless, nice guy to a dangerous, integrated man? The first pillar is physicality. It is cliché, but it is ancient truth. The mind and body are connected. If you are soft, weak, and easily winded, your mind will be soft, weak, and fragile. Pain is the teacher. Lift heavy iron. Learn to fight. Push your body until your lungs burn. Why? Because voluntary suffering destroys the weak voice in your head. When you are under a heavy barbell, you cannot negotiate. You either move the weight or it crushes you. That reality checks you. It grounds you in the physical world. And it builds a chemical confidence that no affirmation can give you. When you carry yourself with the posture of a man who knows his physical capabilities, the world treats you differently. It moves out of your way. The second pillar is articulation. The sword of the modern age is not steel. It is the tongue. If you cannot think and you cannot speak, you are at the mercy of those who can. Dr. Peterson says, if you can think and speak and write, you are absolutely deadly. Stop watching mindless content. Read deep philosophy. Read history. Learn to formulate an argument. Learn to look someone in the eyes and deliver a hard truth without blinking. Speech is how you negotiate your place in the hierarchy. A man who mumbles yields. A man who speaks clearly commands. The third pillar is the capacity for conflict. You must stop avoiding discomfort when a situation arises. A dispute at work, a disrespect from a peer. Do not run. Stand your ground. You do not need to be emotional. In fact, you should be ice cold. State your position, hold your gaze, and let the silence hang. Most men are terrified of awkward silence. They will chatter and apologize just to break the tension. The dangerous man uses silence as a weapon. He states his truth and waits. He lets the other person squirm in the void. This is a small display of power, but it signals a massive shift in your soul. Sun Tzu, the master of war, said, "Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win." This means preparation. The harmless man hopes nothing bad happens. The dangerous man prepares for bad things to happen. He organizes his finances so he is not a slave to a boss he hates. He organizes his mind so he is not a slave to his impulses. He organizes his body so he is not a slave to sickness. He wins first, then he lives his life. There is a saying, a warrior in a garden is better than a gardener in a war. Be the warrior, cultivate your garden, grow your flowers, be gentle with your family, be kind to the weak, help those who need it, but do not forget. The reason you can tend to that garden, the reason you can protect those flowers, is because you have a sword resting against the tree, and you know how to use it if invaders come to the garden. The gardener panics, he prays. He falls, the warrior simply picks up the sword. The violence does not corrupt him. The violence protects what he loves. So I leave you with this challenge. Look in the mirror. Do not lie to the reflection. Ask yourself, am I good or am I just afraid? Stop suppressing the shadow. Invite him in, shake his hand, put him on a leash, and walk out into the world with your head high. Let them see it in your eyes, the depth, the darkness, the peace. Walk into a room and know that if everything went dark, you would survive. That confidence changes your energy. It changes the atmosphere. They will stop interrupting you. They will stop using you. They will sense the potential for danger. And they will give you the respect reserved for the sovereign. Do not pray for an easy life. Do not pray for fewer burdens. Do not pray to be harmless. Pray for the strength to be dangerous and the wisdom to keep it sheathed. The void awaits. Fill it with your power.